Thank you so much. Thank you. It is great to be here with you. Are you glad to be at the Western Conservative Summit? Yeah, me too. So why don't we give a standing ovation to the men and women who have organized this, the folks who are working it right now, everybody who's volunteered their time. Let's do it. They've done a great job. Great job. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm so glad to be here. It is great to be with a group of God-fearing, America-loving patriots. Or as Joe Biden calls you, domestic terrorists who threaten our sacred democracy. Hey, count me in, if that's what it is, count me in. And it's also great to be here in the American West. I married a Westerner. I married a New Mexico girl. And so it's always, yeah, absolutely. So it's great to be in the West. In fact, we're going to a family event later on this weekend. It'll be good to see family. Family, it's always good to see family, even the ones who are a little crazy. Everybody's got a crazy aunt or uncle, right? And these days, that might be the same person. Just never know. It's Joe Biden's America, right? Who's to say? Who can say? No, it's so good to be here with you, and it's great to be here tonight. I know the theme of the conference this year is defending and celebrating our Western heritage, our Western civilization. And I just want to say to you that it is my conviction that we stand at a moment of great peril when it comes to our American civilization. Do you agree with that? We are at a moment of danger, a moment of inflection, a moment where the things that we do, the decisions that we make, the choices that we pursue in the next 4 or 5 or 6 years will determine the future of this country for the next 50 or 60. More than that, it will determine whether or not we have a country in the next 50 or 60. Do you agree? It is a moment of danger. Why? Because the left, even as we speak, the left is assaulting the very foundations of our American nation. They have decided that they no longer believe in the rule of law. Look what happened just yesterday. Former President of the United States indicted, the first time in American history that a sitting president has tried to indict and jail his opponent. All I can say about it is this: if the people in power can put in jail their political opponents, we don't have a republic anymore. That's the danger we're in. That's the moment that we face, but it's even more fundamental than that. I think of President Reagan 40 years ago this year. He gave a speech to a group of Christians, and he told them that Soviet Marxism was the focus of evil in the modern world. Do you remember that speech? The Evil Empire speech, famous speech. He said that the fight against Soviet communism would define the era. The fight against Soviet communism would define the future of America. I'm here to tell you tonight that 40 years later, the fight against a new kind of Marxism will define our era. The left has embraced a new Marxism that challenges the very foundations of this country. And really what we have before us is a question about what's going to be the foundation of this country, what's going to be the foundation of our civilization. I could put it like this: what is going to be our national faith? There is an old historian who's long gone now and long since forgotten. His name's Christopher Dawson, but I was reading him recently. He said something very interesting. He said that every civilization, every great one, is powered by a faith. And the question that we have before us now is, in this civilizational moment, what is going to be our national faith? The new Marxists want to replace our historic national faith, which is rooted in the Bible. It is rooted in our Christian heritage. It is rooted in those Judeo-Christian values that have made us strong. They want to replace that with this new Marxism that would sweep all of our history and heritage away. And I submit to you, that is the great question that we face. What is our faith going to be? Will it be the faith of our fathers? Will it be the faith of the Bible? Will it be the faith that is articulated in the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution of the United States? Or will it be this radical new Marxism? that says that race and class and gender and power are all there are in America. What's it going to be? We are at a civilizational moment. And now it's time for us to stand up and choose and to stand up and defend our country. I want to talk to you tonight about this moment that we face. I want to talk to you about the left's assault on our national faith and what we as conservatives in this hour must do to confront this new Marxism and, quite frankly, to save our country. Here's my proposition to you. This country's national faith has been a simple but profound one, and I can summarize it in 3 words: God, family, nation. God, family, nation. Now, let me just get something out of the way real quick. The left absolutely hates it when you mention God or the Bible, right? I mean, they just lose their minds. So let's just get that out of the way for all of our leftist friends who are watching, who will see this later. Guess what, liberals? God is real. He exists, whether you think he does or not. This country was founded on the traditions of the Bible, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's who we are. And the traditions of the Bible are what have created religious liberty. It is what has created our system of rights in this country, so that whether you're a believer or not, you're protected and welcomed in America. Why? Because of the foundation of the Bible and the Christian faith and the Judeo-Christian heritage. But now all of that is under assault. God, family, nation, the left is attacking every single one of them. Let's start with the left's attack on the nation. You know, the left now tells us today that our nation is fundamentally evil. I mean, really, let's just cut to the chase. That's what they say, is it not? They say that America is systemically oppressive, that America is systemically racist. They tell us that our founding came not in 1776, but in 1619, when the slave trade began on this continent. What's their point? That America, the nation, is fundamentally warped and needs to be totally and completely remade. And that is their agenda, to remake this nation in their image. Now, they are carrying out an assault on the nation. They're carrying out an assault on our borders. Every nation has strong borders. To have a nation is to have borders. It is to have a sense of who belongs in the family, who has chosen to be an American. That's not what today's Marxists want. They want to throw open our borders. Have you seen what's happening on our southern border? I know you have. Can you believe the drugs and the human smuggling and the sex trafficking? Can you believe what they're doing to our children all over this nation? I'll just tell you, I live in the state of Missouri. We are not on the border geographically, but you cannot go to a school in the state of Missouri and not find drugs, illegal drugs, fentanyl, meth, readily available. Where is it coming from? It's coming from across the southern border. No, these policies are literally killing our children. The southern border is completely open, not because Joe Biden doesn't know how to stop it. It's because he wants it open. It's because they don't believe in borders, because they don't believe in the nation. I tell you what else they don't believe in. They don't believe that we the people ought to actually run this nation, right? They think that they should be in charge, and our role is to sit down, shut up, and do as we're told. Well, we've got news for them. The days of us being quiet and going along are over. We're going to stand up for this nation. We're going to stand up and fight. We're going to make our voices heard. The left wants to make us dependent on China. They don't believe in the United States of America. They don't believe in the nation. They want to make us dependent on foreign nations. They want to get rid of our borders. They want to enmesh us in a multilateral system of this, that, and the other. They want to make China rich and America poor. I often say that Joe Biden's entire climate agenda is all about making us dependent on who? China. Chinese solar powers, solar panels, Chinese batteries, Chinese energy. Why are they doing these things? Because they don't believe in the American nation. Now, friends, make no mistake about it. Today's Marxists do not believe in the nation. They don't believe in the family. We are witnessing the most unbelievable assault on the sanctity of the family in American history. And now, it has gone so far as our leftist friends saying there is no such thing as man and woman. Can you believe that we would ever reach a point in American history when a political party would actually say that biological men ought to be in women's sports and that women should just be okay with it? That biological men ought to be in women's locker rooms and women should just be okay with it. You can't have families if you don't have men and women. And this party, the Democrat Party, the radical left, no longer believe in the distinction. They say there's 2,000 genders or maybe 2 million. I got news for them. There are two, just two. Male, female, it's not hard. As the liberals used to say, follow the science, right? Follow the science. Biology is real. Newsflash, biology is real. Follow the science, male and female. You know, I had the opportunity a few months ago to be sitting at a Senate hearing as part of my job. The hearing was on women's rights. But I noticed during this hearing that the Democrat star witness, who's a very well-credentialed professor at a very prestigious university, that she wouldn't say the word woman. She kept using this weird phrase, persons with a capacity for pregnancy. That's what she said. No, you can't make this stuff up. I'm not kidding. Persons with a capacity for pregnancy. So I started keeping track on my little notepad how many times she said it. 1, 2, 20, 30. And so I'm listening, I'm waiting my turn to go. Finally, when it got to be my turn, I said, listen, I just have to ask you. You keep saying persons with a capacity for pregnancy. Do you just mean women? Her response to me was, Senator Hawley, she said, I would just like to point out the transphobic nature of your question. And I said, I would just like to point out the insanity of this entire conversation. What is happening here? She went on to ask me if I think that men can get pregnant. And I said, no, I don't think men can get pregnant. No one has ever thought such a thing. And do you know, I looked around and not one Democrat member of that committee, not one, would disagree with her. Not one would use the word woman. This is a hearing on women's rights, and not one of them would use the word woman. What a time to be alive. What a day and age. But we laugh, but we know every parent in this room knows how dangerous this is. I've got 3 little ones at home. My oldest is Elijah, who is 10. My younger boy is Blaze, who is 8. And then I've got my baby girl, Abigail, who is 2 years old, who runs the house, by the way. But when I think about what the left wants to tell our children, what they want to tell my little ones, that something is wrong with the way that God made them, that to be who God made them to be is not good enough, I tell you, it just makes me sick to my stomach. We need to stand up and say, the way that God made you is good. Gender is good. Male and female is good. It's good to be a man. It's good to be a woman. We need strong families in this country. We need men and women, husbands and wives, and we need to give more power back to parents to raise their children as they see fit. I don't want my kids raised by big government, and I don't want my kids raised by big tech or social media or any of these woke corporations. My wife and I, we want to raise our kids. We want to raise them to know that they've got a destiny, that God has a purpose for their life, God has a plan for their life, that He raised them up, He called them to be world changers. We want to give them that destiny and not have it taken away by anybody. And every parent in America has the right to do the same. We've got to protect parents. The left, their war on the family is a war on gender. It's a war on male and female. It's a war on parents. These are the people who say that if you go to your kid's school board meeting that you pay for, by the way, with your tax dollars, if you do that, well, you're a domestic terrorist. Have we ever in the history of this country had an administration that would use the FBI on parents and treat parents as terrorists because they wanted to have a say in their kids' education? That is wrong. That is unprecedented, and it has to stop. And we've got to take a stand to make sure it stops. This is the left's war on the family. And then we come really to the heart of it. The left is assaulting the nation. They're assaulting the family. They're also going after God. Here is the real truth. The left wants to replace God with an idol of their own making. They want to take God out of our history. They want to take the Bible out of our traditions. They want to tell us that anything that has to do with faith has got to be erased from the public square, and they want to replace it with their new state religion of wokeism. That's what they want. That's the struggle that we are facing. It's a whole new religion of woke that they want to place on us. They want to force on us. And at the end of the day, this really, in my opinion, this is the core issue. The core issue is, are we one nation under God, as Lincoln said? Is our faith, the faith of our fathers, our ancient faith, as Lincoln said, is that still our faith today? And I tell you what, I'm not afraid to stand up and defend it. I tell you this, because we are a nation rooted in the Bible, we believe in the dignity of every human person. Amen? We believe in the right to life for every person. Because we are a nation with a tradition of the Bible, we believe in the right to conscience. We believe in the right to speak. We believe in the right to assemble. We believe in the right to publish your views. And all of the other rights we hold dear, they all flow out of this. They all flow out of the revelation that is captured in the Declaration of Independence, that our rights come from a creator, not from the state. And that our rights are inalienable, and you can't take them away from us. The left is assaulting that. They are assaulting God. God, family, nation. The pillars of who we've been as a country. This new Marxism wants to take it apart. So what should we do? Well, I hope that what I've said so far really gives the answer. We need now, just as we had in the 1980s, a bold conservative movement that stood against Soviet Marxism. We need now a powerful, strong conservative movement that will stand against this cultural Marxism, that will stand up and defend God, family, nation. We need a movement of conservatism that is for God, that is for family, that is for nation, and will not be apologetic about it. We can start by reaffirming Lincoln's saying that our ancient faith, we are one nation under God, that we are here with a purpose, that we believe in right and wrong, good and evil, that our rights come from God, not from the state, that our dignity comes from God, not from the state, that we are going to fight for that ancient faith. We need a conservatism that is not ashamed to say that we believe in who we are, our history is good, and that the tradition of the Bible is a darn good one, and we're going to defend it. And this is why I've taken to saying, in the places that I go, whether it's a faith gathering or not, that while I am a proud conservative, and I am first and foremost a Christian. And I will never confuse the two, and I will never apologize for being a follower of Jesus Christ. We need a conservatism that defends the family. We need to give rights back to parents to make sure that they can raise their kids. We need to give a bill of rights to parents so that they can know what's going on in their kids' schools. If the bureaucrats tell their kids that they need to transition to a different gender, if the bureaucrats tell their kids that they need to have surgeries that will sterilize them for life, parents ought to be able to stop it. Parents ought to be able to sue. Parents ought to be able to hold these people accountable. We need these rights for parents right now. We need an economy that works for the family. This is something I just cannot get the liberals in Washington to understand. Their idea of providing for a family is to replace a husband with a check. And I don't know how many times it's going to take to say it to them, but we'll keep on saying it till they get it. A man and a check are different things. No check can replace a father. You want to deal with childhood poverty in this country? Put a father back in the home. You want to deal with youth violence in this country? Put a father back in the home. It is time to get an economic policy that rewards marriage rather than penalizes it, that rewards families. Shouldn't we have a country and an economy where you can get a job and support your family on it? Is that too much to ask? I mean, here we are paying double, triple for gas. People can't afford groceries. They can't afford eggs. They can't afford bread. And we have to explain to Joe Biden that our goal should not be more welfare. Our goal should be good paying American jobs in this country on which you can raise a family. And I'll go one further. I want to see an American economy where you can raise a family on a single income. It shouldn't be too much to ask that parents be able to say, one is going to work, one is going to take care of the kids, and we're going to be able to raise our children the way we want to raise them, not the way government tells us to. We need an economy to support it. As for the nation, we need a conservative movement that will defend the nation. And I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I am tired of hearing these woke corporations tell us that we are nothing more than consumers whose job it is just to buy their stuff. I just say to Target and Kohl's and Budweiser and whomever else, we are not consumers, we are citizens. You can't force your values on us, we're gonna force our values on you. A nation is not a corporation, no matter how much they try to make it so. No, a nation is a family. That's why we believe in borders, by the way. It's not because we don't love people who come here. We're a nation of immigrants. My grandfather was the first generation born in this nation, born in the American family, I should say. No, we believe that the nation is a family, and when you come to this family, we stick up for one another, we believe in one another, we fight for one another. That's why we believe in citizenship, because we believe in the value of this nation. And we believe that this nation has a purpose. This nation has a destiny, and God isn't finished with it yet. You know, I think of when the Puritans first came to these shores, what was it that they said that they wanted America to be? They said they wanted it to be a city on a hill, a garden in a wilderness. They believed America had a mission for the world, to show the world what it looked like when men and women lived the way God intended us to live, in freedom, in liberty, following Him, following our conscience, serving each other and serving God. That was their hope for the United States of America. You know, if you like, I think you could put it this way. It's almost like the United States was supposed to be a little foretaste of heaven, a little piece of what heaven must be like, where we're there together, serving a common purpose, believing in one another, living our God-given abilities, showing the world what it looks like, what it's possible to be when you follow God, when you love your neighbor, when you raise your family, when you live the right way. That's what America was meant to be. And I think now, as we're here tonight in the great American West, the land of the pioneers, the frontiersmen, you know, those very first pioneers, those stern Puritans, when they first came to our shores, I just think of them aboard the Mayflower, scanning the horizon, you know, looking for land. Are we there yet? Have we made it? They're looking for a place, of course, to land and a place to establish their settlement, the new city on a hill, but they're looking for more than that. They were looking for hope. They were looking for a chance of a new future. They were looking for a chance to live as God has called all of us to live. And I just say this to you tonight. Their dream that America might be that garden in the wilderness, that America might be that foretaste of heaven, all these centuries later, that dream is still alive. That dream is now in our care. And whether it survives and flourishes will depend on what we do in the days and years to come. And God help us, we will see that dream through. God bless you. Thank you for having me. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.